The 2026 Texas Senate primary elections have become a defining moment in the American political calendar, drawing intense national focus as voters across Texas participated in a high-stakes contest to determine which candidates from the major parties will advance to the general election for a seat in the United States Senate, an institution whose decisions shape federal law, national policy, and the direction of the country. The primaries unfolded against a backdrop of economic uncertainty, ongoing debates over immigration and border security, rising healthcare costs, concerns about education funding, public safety, and the role of government in everyday life, all of which influenced voter sentiment and campaign messaging throughout the state. From large metropolitan areas like Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin to rural communities and border regions, voters turned out in significant numbers, signaling that the outcome of this race matters deeply to Texans across demographic, geographic, and ideological lines. Political analysts noted that early voting data suggested strong engagement from first-time voters and younger demographics, alongside consistent participation from older and more traditional voting blocs, reflecting a complex and evolving electorate that both parties are closely studying as they prepare for the general election. On the Democratic side, the primary campaign centered on themes of expanding access to healthcare, protecting voting rights, strengthening public education, addressing income inequality, and promoting economic opportunity, with candidates emphasizing grassroots organizing, digital outreach, and coalition building as central strategies in a state where Democrats have faced structural challenges in statewide races for decades. The results of the Democratic primary were widely interpreted as a signal of the party's strategic priorities, with voters favoring a nominee they believe can appeal beyond the traditional Democratic base and compete effectively in suburban districts and growing urban regions, where political attitudes have shifted in recent years. Many Democratic voters expressed hope that demographic change, population growth, and increasing political engagement among younger Texans could help narrow the gap in a general election that will likely be fiercely contested and heavily scrutinized nationwide. On the Republican side, the primary process exposed internal divisions that have been building for years, as multiple candidates representing different wings of the party competed for support among conservative voters. The inability of any single Republican candidate to secure a clear majority underscored the fragmented nature of the GOP electorate, prompting a runoff election that is expected to intensify ideological debates, fundraising efforts, and voter outreach across the state. Republican strategists describe the runoff as a critical moment for party unity, emphasizing the importance of consolidating support after a competitive primary in order to maintain the party's long-standing dominance in Texas statewide elections. Throughout the primary season, campaign advertising flooded television, radio, and social media platforms, with candidates investing heavily in messaging designed to motivate supporters, define opponents, and frame the election around key policy disputes, while outside groups and political action committees added to the saturation, making the Texas Senate race one of the most expensive contests of the 2026 cycle. The primary elections were also marked by broader discussions about election administration, with some voters reporting long wait times, ballot processing delays, and confusion over voting rules in certain counties, issues that reignited debates about election access, security, and efficiency. Election officials acknowledged logistical challenges in high-population areas while maintaining that the overall process functioned as intended, and advocacy groups from across the political spectrum called for continued investment in election infrastructure to ensure a smoother experience in November. As attention now shifts from the primaries to the general election, both parties are recalibrating their strategies based on voter turnout patterns, regional performance, and issue salience revealed during the primary contests. The Democratic nominee is expected to focus on mobilizing urban voters, appealing to independents, and expanding outreach in suburban communities, while also addressing concerns among rural voters who often feel overlooked in statewide campaigns. Meanwhile, the Republican nominee emerging from the runoff will likely prioritize base turnout, party unity, and messaging focused on economic growth, public safety, and border enforcement, themes that have historically resonated with Texas voters. National political organizations are closely monitoring the Texas Senate race, recognizing that while Texas remains a challenging state for Democrats at the statewide level, even modest shifts in voter behavior could have significant implications for the overall balance of power in the Senate. Fundraising efforts are expected to accelerate dramatically in the coming months, with both campaigns seeking financial support from donors inside and outside the state, and with political advertising projected to dominate airwaves as Election Day approaches. For many Texans, this election represents more than a contest between two candidates, serving instead as a referendum on leadership, representation, and the future direction of both the state and the nation. Voters have voiced a wide range of priorities, from economic stability and job creation to healthcare affordability, education, quality, and the protection of individual rights, making the general election campaign a complex and multifaceted battle for public trust. As candidates prepare to crisscross the state, hold town halls, participate in debates, and engage with voters both in person and online, political observers agree that turnout, messaging, discipline, and coalition building will be decisive factors in determining the final outcome. In this context, the 2026 Texas Senate primaries stand as a crucial opening chapter in a longer political story, one that reflects the changing dynamics of Texas politics, the intensity of national polarization, and the enduring importance of voter participation in shaping democratic outcomes, setting the stage for a general election that is expected to capture the attention of the entire country and potentially influence the course of American governance for years to come.